What's going on, everybody? This is your boy King Gabe here, and got another little something special for you guys today. Okay, so previously I told you so far about the Star Striker comic series, the unpublished Star Striker series from 2004, which a little bit later I still do plan to share with you guys about the spinoff that came, or I guess you could say the direct continuation from that, which was supposed to be the 2004 Dream League series, and also Brown Chronicles comic series, as well as also the yumeko comic series, as well as also the comics of Yumeko, both published and unpublished from it there. So now we're going to go into another unpublished Star Striker series called Star Striker and the Rise of Heroes. This was actually supposed to take place alongside the Yumeko comic series in the same universe, but two different series. Sort of like how you have the Superman animated series and the Batman animated series, both in the same universe, way back in the 90s there. So it's supposed to be somewhat like that, and what it was, like with the Yumeko comic series, Hiko and his friends, they were all in the other world, Yumeko mysteriously. So obviously, much like the kids in like the Digimon series were in the other world, except the concept of time was regular. It wasn't like we've been in the digital world for weeks and weeks, and suddenly it's only a few minutes in the real world. But no, time was passing the same, so people noticed that the kids were missing and stuff. So this series, Star Striker and the Rise of Heroes, acknowledged that, while at the same time following Star Striker's journey along with other superheroes that would be aligned with him, like Target and stuff like that. So it's sort of stuff was going on in the real world too, at the same time that there was action in Yumeko. So before we go any further into discussing this, just want to let you guys know, definitely like, share, subscribe, buy our available books that we do have, and don't forget to hit us up on that Patreon and support us on that Patreon, just like your boy AJ All Supreme, Big Sis Casey, and the Iceman Universe. Go! So do all that. Say hang out with us on Facebook and Discord, and we can still each other some stuff in the Macari app. So now, without further ado, let's talk about this this other unpublished Star Striker series, Rise of Heroes, that was kind of sort of current there. Like I say, this actually was made around the same time as the rough drafts for Yumeko. Yeah. Remember I mentioned that for Yumeko I made like 10 rough drafts before I even sent them off to be proofread. And after the long time it took to proofread, because it was like 10 rough drafts, anytime you got somebody to proofread something for you, don't send them 10 rough drafts at one time. Yeah, that's not exactly it's not gonna be pretty. So yes, one rough draft at a time, please. So however, though, at the same time I was working on those rough drafts for Yumeko, I was also working on the rough drafts for Star Striker and the Rise of Heroes. Or I might have been working on them while Yumeko was being proofread. I'm not completely sure, but it was before I got the first two published Yumeko comic books, though. And then of course there were changes made to the Yumeko comic where Star Striker got inserted in the world of Yumeko, which sort of put a damper on the possibilities of this series. But Much like Yumeko, I did get quite a bit of it done before changing my mind on it. So this is what. So today we're going to look at the issue 1 of Star Striker and the Rise of Heroes. So here we go. It's sort of like I say, it was supposed to be a comic, so it is written like a script. Scene begins at 5:30 with a vortex firing streams of light in different directions. Pretty much reference to what's about to transpire in Yumeko, except we're now in the real world. Shreveport, Louisiana, of course. And we see, and Samuel is floating over the dam. And by the way, I'm reading this on my laptop here. Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm in front of the webcam. Yeah, but I also got a little bit of a half screen, so I'm looking at half of the screen here of what I see on here. Of course, it would be nice if I could do a split screen there for you guys to see what I'm looking at. But anyway, so he's floating over downtown Shreveport. Samuel's like, "Whoa, this is kind of cool. I can fly." And he tries to fly forward, but then suddenly starts falling. He screams, trying to pull himself up, and at the last minute grabs a pole between two traffic lights, swings on it, and shoots back up toward the sky, going, "Woo!" This actually is kind of a reference to Spider-Verse, when Miles Morales first got his powers and stuff, and he was like to be like Spider-Man. And the first of the movie, he was falling, and you know how they had the movie set up like a comic book. You see the word "ah" as he's falling, but then in the finale of the movie, like when they were doing that "What's up, danger?" like "What's up, danger?" dun, 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 dun. "Can't stop me now!" Well, suddenly he was trying to do that big moment, shot the web, and as he was going up, "Woo! Can't stop me now! Yeah! I said, I got you now! I'm right here at your door. I won't leave. I won't lose. Like, what's up, danger?" Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, it's kind of a reference to that a little bit there. Then Samuel lands on the roof of the Shreve City Bank. Like, wow, is this for real or a dream? And then he takes a moment. He says, "I wonder what else I can do." And he knows his hands are glowing. He holds them up toward the sky, and a star blast shoots out of them and explodes in the sky. As well as also, he's able to shoot another kind of star blast, which forms into a smoke screen. So, yeah, I guess you could say he might not need the smoke screen, but I'm not sure. Not sure if I'm gonna have that ability for Star Striker and Yumeko, where he's able to naturally produce the smoke screen. Honestly, I didn't. I kind of had. I didn't really think about that when I was writing novel number 3 of Yumeko, where Samuel first becomes Star Striker there. With the smoke screen, I know he has smoke screen bombs from Yumeko novel number 2 before he even becomes Star Striker, that he uses, which y'all hear about that in a later video. And duly note, number 3 is still, the pictures for it are still being worked on as of now that I'm making this video. Like I say, a little bit of a delay there, but it's still being worked on there. She's still, Casey's still at it there. But I'm not. But yeah, I wasn't thinking about what I just saw here in this rough draft about, that's about smokescreen naturally coming from his Star Blast. So, yeah, maybe. I guess maybe when his powers get analyzed in a later novel, he might. they might figure that out there. So yeah, so you never know. We'll see what comes of this. So I might have to probably relook at my rough draft to see, because there might be something in there I may have possibly put in there. So so Sam is like, well, this is gonna take some getting used to. And then of course he sees just so, since he's coincidentally on the roof of the bank, he hears some crooks exiting the bank. The crooks here are actually not Montague and House, like they're not the not Three Stooges like from the Star Trek comic series that I told you guys about in earlier videos. This is actually Derek, Gilbert, and Zach. Derek, you'll hear what becomes of him in a little bit there. Gilbert and Zach were actually a couple of characters from Heroes of Dreams. And what happens to them is pretty much similar to Heroes of Dream, but there is a bit of a slight difference, which you'll find out when I get around to talking about Heroes of Dreams there. I have a certain order I'm doing all this in, by the way, so yeah. Thought I heard something there. Maybe my stomach. Anyway, so Samuel tries to, he reaches into his pajama pocket and pulls out a mask. There's always, I guess Samuel always has a little mask with him there, keeps it just in case. He probably was playing superhero at the house earlier. He puts on this mask, tries to fire another star blast to make a smoke screen, but accidentally blows up the getaway car. He fires another one that does create a smoke screen. They're like, what's going on here? And he swoops down, kicking Gilbert into Zach before doing a superhero landing. And like Deadpool say, oh, you're gonna do a superhero landing. Superhero landing, great. That's gotta be hard on your knees. No. So Derek's like, he notices Samuel. He's like, I don't know how you did that or who you are. He pulls out a gun. Say, but you're gonna pay for getting in our way. And say, when he starts to shoot at Samuel uses his super speed to constantly dodge Derek, even teasing him a little bit, or like Flash would do, when he'd be running around at super speed, especially the Flash from the Batman series in 2004. And Derek loses sight of Sam, and he's like, where are you little brat? Show yourself! And eventually he hears Samuel on a payphone calling 911. Say, I just fired a robbery at the Tree City Bank, 3187 Arkansas Street. Almost kind of like McAllister in Home Alone when he did that. And Derek spots Samuel from behind. Samuel's able to blast the bullets this time and rushes toward Derek, kicking him into Gilbert and Zach just as they were getting back up. Oh. And Samuel says, and so the night, or technically the early morning, yet still dark, has been saved, thanks to I gotta come up with a superhero name and probably a decent costume. He knows that the sun's starting to rise and say, but for now I better get home. So at his house, the Princeton resident, apparently his sister Sheila is in this one, just like she was in the Star Trek comics. In the Yumeko, I'm not sure in the Yumeko comic, but in the Yumeko novels series, he doesn't have a sister in there. This is why, because I probably mentioned this in the earlier videos of the Star Trek comics, but if you didn't, just in case you didn't see those there, in the Star Trek comics, the reason Star Striker has an older sister is because At that time, he was just like Hiko in those comics from was it 2017. He was based he like Hiko. He was based directly from me, and Shelia at that time I based her off of Raven Simone. Imagine if Raven Simone was your big sister there, so all sassy and everything. So in this one, Samuel was actually I was actually basing this version of Samuel off of one of my cousins who had an older sister as well, and also a bit of like Virgil and his sister from Static Shock there. So it's kind of a cross between those references there, and like I say, this version pretty much was like that. So at the Princeton residence, she's preparing breakfast while listening to Tanya Wesley on the news. The news reporter, pretty much a reference to a news reporter from News 12 that I knew back when she was on news. It's Michelle White. She was one of the news reporters I know back when I was in high school, and I think probably ever since I was a little kid, possibly. But I do know she was also on there when I was in high school, because I remember taking her groceries out one time when I first started working at Kroger, and I told when I was working after school, and I told some of my friends about it in the daycare class, the other student volunteers in the daycare class, and one of them cracked me up. One of them was like, "Oh yeah, I know. Oh, I know about Michelle White. she look good, like, boy, okay, somebody's a fan." She look good. Say, boy. So, anywho, as Michael Kyle saying, my wife and kids, anywho. So, Shelia, she calls for Samuel and also Brian. Brian's, it's of course, yeah, Samuel's best friend Brian, calls them downstairs for breakfast. Tanya mentions on the news about 4 missing children that have mysteriously disappeared from their homes here in Shreveport. According to the parents, they've been missing since yesterday morning, and there's no evidence on who has taken them. This was to reference what was transpiring in the Yumeko comic series before all the rough drafts were proofed, and then suddenly I started rewriting them in time. I rewrote some things in them in the final comic edition there. So, yeah, that was a thing. A lot of time things would get rewritten in the comics. This is even with my wife's comic series now. Not quite as much. Now, in my wife's comic series, I didn't really change a lot because, like I say, she was the one that wrote it. So a lot of things would be kept the same in her comics, in her comic series, as she put them, and I, illustrate what she was writing, what she wanted to have in her stories. However, if a change occurred, just say if a change occurred, it would, I would, before I make, it would be like, well, hey, baby, maybe we, you want to try it like this, it was mostly because of maybe how a certain illustration was going, or maybe a better way that I could illustrate something. But it was and a lot of times she would approve of it. Sometimes she would say keep it the same. No, I don't. I want to keep it the way I got it. But they was really minor at best. Whether whether the change got made or not, it was basically like a minor change. Here, with something like now with what I was writing, a lot of time these would be some major changes that a lot of time would even change the outcome of future story plans that I may had already had in mind. Like in the case of Yumeko with the 10 rough drafts, when I made the first two Yumeko comic books, yeah, there was so much got changed from the rough drafts going into the comic production that started to create where I had to go back and make changes to the rough drafts that were to come, like the third one I mentioned to you guys about when we talked about the Yumeko published comics there, when I mentioned about what got changed in the rough draft for issue number 3. So, kind of, yeah, and that also affected the whole thing with Star Striker, where, yeah, where suddenly, okay, I guess we can't do this series now, but like I say, so, yeah, that's a lot of time changes would occur when they went into post there. Kind of like with a lot of movies there, you know, a lot of time you hear about not just like deleted scenes and stuff like that, and this would have been a whole different movie there, so that would happen. And so yeah, this was a reference to the disappearance of Hiko, Zayden. They say 2 other kids. Yeah, it was 4 kids. 4 kids were missing: Hiko, Zayden, Naomi, and I'm trying to think. I think it's a okay. It said 4 children from Shreveport. So, Hiko, Naomi, Zayden, and I'm thinking the 4th child was supposed to be Taikari. I think I want to say. It could have been somebody else there. But then, so then she was like, "That's kind of weird there." And then Tanya mentions that there's reports of children missing in other areas, like Texas, Arkansas, and even outside of USA, in Japan. Oh wait, it's about. Oh no, wait, it doesn't. Okay, so. Tanya was about to mention who the missing children were until Brian interrupted. But yeah, he mentioned Texas, Arkansas, and even outside of USA in Japan, which of course Japan is referring to kids like Julie and Tim and Melina. And I think there was supposed to be a few others from Japan as well. And I'm thinking Texas was also referring to the I want to say a couple of Hiko's cousins there, because which was sort of a reference to me in actual real life, where I did have some cousins of mine in Houston, which then they moved back to Shreveport, and now I think they're back in Texas with their families, stuff like that. These new families they started. So anyway, so it's like the missing from so Brian's like, Samuel disappeared. She was like, what? And back at the Shreve City Bank downtown, you got 3 police officers led by Commissioner Lisa Princeton, who is Samuel's mother. So in this version, Samuel's mom is a police commissioner. Which, like I say, Samuel was based. I was basing him on one of my cousins back then, and his mother was in the police force there. She's retired from the police, but yeah, she was in the police force. Now, as for the Yumeko novel series, just a heads up on that. Star Striker, of course, is being based off of my boy EJ the Supreme. So as for my cousin, who was going to be the base of Star Striker, just like he is here, there is something else I do have in mind for him, which actually was a character that I actually had meant to put him in a while back. I think in Heroes of Dream or another project there. So we'll probably see that at some point in the novels there. So just a heads up on that. So They come to arrest Derek, Gilbert, and Zach, but suddenly they start to mutate. Derek becomes an octopus mutant with tentacles where his hair should be. And Gilbert, he becomes a warthog. Zach ends up becoming a pack rat. So that was something that actually happened to the characters Gilbert and Zach in Heroes of Dreams. They became a warthog and a rat. Except in Heroes of Dreams, they weren't adults. They were kids like Star Striker was, and it was some type of formula that turned them into those mutant forms. Spoiler. Derek, on the other end, becoming this octopus mutant, he was actually featured in the unpublished 2004 Star Trek series that I mentioned. So yeah, you kind of spoiled it, but yeah, he's become Octobraid there. And as for Gilbert and Zach, which they haven't announced this yet, but they would then in their mutant forms call themselves Gilbert. He would be Pumo, not Pumbaa. Pumbaa, not in front of the kids. Oh, sorry. And Zach would become Wrecker. So, yeah, Pumo and Wrecker. I guess you could say like an evil Timon and Pumbaa. Like, Pumbaa, not in front of the kids. So, to show you real quick, because I actually do have pictures of them. My star preparation here. Right here. So, matter of fact, I even have pictures from Star Striker and the Rise of the Heroes preparation. Alright. And I might already have this up by the time I upload this, but the pictures I'm about to show you, that was gonna be what live action Samuel looked like for that series. And that's a drawing I made of him, of course. And there's in a different outfit there. We'll have kind of trying to do the whole Clark Kent thing with the glasses. And then that's what he looked like all decked out as Star Striker. Side by side, of course. And this is what Brian was meant to look like live action there. And now I noticed I put in here Morgan Princeton. Sorry, I put in there Morgan Princeton. Even though here I'm saying Sheila Princeton, so I'm thinking at some point I must have had plans to change her name to Morgan to do a little something different there. And this was supposed to be Samuel's mother, Lisa Princeton. Yep. And her animated form there in her police uniform and everything. Yep. And cut over to Octorus there, or Derek, sorry, who becomes Octobraid. Octobraid. So that's Octobraid in his mutant form and everything. Pretty scary looking, This is actually the first time I ever drew Octobraid there. So, and you got Wrecker, the mutant rat, transformed from Zach. And Gilbert becomes Pumo. Yeah, technically an evil Pumbaa. Hey, come on! I'm gonna do some crimes! Yes. Yeah, so yep, that was that's what it was like there. So, let me get back in the rough draft here. So once they become their mutant forms, the police are like, "What in the world?" And moments later, while this is going on, Samuel arrives at the front door of his house. Just as he gets there, he's teleported to a secret base, and he's looking around this base like, "Wait, where am I?" And this is where Ultra Cat was actually in this. He said, "Welcome to the Wonder Sphere," sort of like, yes, you could say like either, I guess, will be a reference to either the Fortress of Solitude for Superman or the Watchtower for the Justice League. So he said the Wonder Sphere, and he's looking at Ultra. He's like, "Oh man, Ultra Cat." Ultra Cat, you're actually here and real. I can't believe this. I wish I had my comic book for you to sign. And he's like, I'm pretty sure I can do that after you help out with the situation in your city. He's like, wait, what are you talking about? Those bank robbers? I already dealt with them. You did, but... And that's when he shows what's happening downtown, where they're in their mutant form fighting with the police officers with some of their new powers, of course. You say a mutation. There was a mutation after you left. Like, well, I defeated them before, and I'll do it again. Of course, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to need a costume, and I have just the idea. So, back at the. Let's see. Oh yeah. So back with the news report. This just in: another child is reported missing without a trace. A call from our Shreveport Police Department from Sheila Princeton reported that her brother Samuel Lee Princeton went missing earlier this morning. We hope to find out more. On that, along with the other missing children, once our sky cams, as one of our sky cams has shown footage of the commissioner and a few cops in battles with some unidentified creatures. So they're trying to take care of Derek, Gilbert, and Zach. And then Samuel shows up in full costume, and he say, "Let's just say I'm not your ordinary kid. Here in Shreveport, born and raised. I'll protect the city day and night to keep it safe from the likes of you. Call me Star Striker, the Shreveport Defender, because I strike like a star." So Gilbert, Zach, and Derek, they look at him for a little bit, and along with the police officers, they go out towards Star and the trio, but Lisa kind of motions for them to hold still, just hey, stay back. And eventually, Derek, Gilbert, and Zach, they fall on the ground laughing, like, "Oh my gosh, Star Striker, what a ridiculous name! I'm so scared, I'm shaking in fear!" Star Striker, that sounds like a ripoff of Star Search. Yeah, if you guys don't know Star Search, that was pretty much like another American Idol type show. So, yeah, so they keep laughing until Star Striker fires a star blast that sends the trio into the sky. and then at super speed, at the star speed, he kicks Racker, punches Pumo, and grabs Octobrave by his tentacles, swinging him around, along with Gilbert and Zach. And then lands in. And then when he lands in front of them, they since you want to criticize, here's a couple of criticisms for you. Number one, never underestimate your opponent. Number two, a kid always wins against a bunch of knucklehead bozos like you all. But yeah, I want to be critical. Hey, I can do that too. I can critique you too. Just like our buddy Love did, Nutty Professor. I ain't gonna say what he said here because I'm trying to keep it family friendly. So yeah, watch Nutty Professor so you can hear what he said. Now, the adults, not the that Nutty Professor is not suitable for children. So make me think of what me and Christina looked at on 2017 DuckTales when they did that Darkwing Duck movie trailer, trying sort of trying to parody Christian Bale's Christopher Nolan's Batman. Like, this film not suitable for children. So the trio gets slow and saying they're like, so Star tells the police that y'all better clear the area because in case things get ugly, I'll let you know when it's safe. And one of the police officers like, now wait a minute, kid. And Lisa tells them, hey, clear the perimeter. But Commissioner, you get to clear the perimeter. What did I just say? Oh, okay, yes, ma'am. So they all clear. Star mentions the sort of that kind of reminded me of Avengers when Cap was telling the police to giving the police some instructions. It was like, why should we listen to you? All of a sudden, one of the Chitauri comes out. Cap beats it up. I need a perimeter block around. So he's like, Gilbert's like, so you want to play heroic crime fighter? So you want to play Mr. Heroic Crime Fighter? Star's like, playtime is over for you guys. It's like, oh, he means business. Yes, so he does. Something tells me you're the same kid that was messing with us earlier. Could be. Derek say, well, if that's the case, then it's time to even the score with some major payback. And it ends there on a bit of a cliffhanger. So you probably could guess, going into the next rough draft, it's gonna be on. And I forgot to mention this issue 1 of Rise of the Heroes is Strike Like a Star. In the Star Trek comic series, it was called the Strike of the Star. But this one was called Strike Like a Star. Sort of like Static Shock, where he mentioned shock to the system there. So, let's see. And as for what it was called in the novel, Yumeko novel number 3, when Samuel becomes Star Striker. Let's see. Yumeko. Okay, let me guess I gotta go to a different. So I got three different emails here. So yeah, sometime. Let's see, Yumeko number 3. Yeah, there we go. Okay, the Supreme Star Striker. Yes. So for the Yumeko book number 3 novel series, the title is the Supreme Star Striker. Yeah, so. Yeah, which is sort of a play on who Star Striker is being, who his likeness is being based off of, which is EJ the Supreme. Yep, Star Striker Supreme. So, yeah, that kind of now we know where that comes from now. So, yep. So that was, that's the first issue of Star Striker and the Rise of Heroes. So that's it for this video. There, just doing one at a time since there's only 5. It's not with the last one, the Yumeko rough drafts. It was 10 of them, and I think we did a little bit more with the unpublished Star Striker series from 2004. So yeah, this one is just only 5. Before I went back and made changes and stuff like that, after getting the Yumeko rough drafts all published and putting them into post. If y'all enjoyed that, definitely like, share, subscribe, get our available books. Definitely hit up on that Patreon and support us, just like your boy EJ the Supreme, Big Sis Casey in the Iceman universe. Also hang out with us on Facebook and Discord, and let's sell each other some stuff on that Macari app, and we will see y'all in the next video. Take care, everybody.